Hi, this is Marc from LongIslandWatch.com, and today, finally, I guess on the channel, I'd like to kind of tell the entire story of how I came about to start this business and get to where, kind of where I am today. The whole history of it. People have asked numerous times on the channel for me to tell the story of how I began, so here it goes. A little story. It's probably going to be long-winded, so bear with me. I think it's the best way to really start is to kind of give some background information. Number one, and you'll see how all this stuff kind of comes into play, when I finally start doing the business. So number one, I am a watch guy. I always have been a watch guy. I mean, I didn't always wear two watches. I do now, usually. But I've always been a watch fanatic. Quartz, automatic, didn't matter. I guess when I was much younger, I didn't even know there was a difference. So always a watch lover. I bought my first watch somewhere in the 80s. I still have it. It's a dive watch. Sometime later in the late 80s, I picked up a Tissot two-timer, which I still have. So, just a watch fanatic through and through. Number two, my background is in engineering. I have 2 degrees, bachelor's and a master's in mechanical engineering. I graduated from the Cooper Union in Manhattan. I like to say when it was free. If you don't know what that means, look it up, you'll understand. And then I went on to practice aerospace engineering for like 13 years or so. I started in 1998. June of 98, and I kind of continued with that through 2011. So engineer, love all things mechanical, moving parts, little stuff. Obviously you could see, how a mechanical engineer would really, dig, mechanical and automatic watches. Okay, so love watches, am an engineer. Number 3. I kind of grew up in retail. I grew up in my father's hardware store in Manhattan. Brick and mortar retail, obviously, online didn't exist, but my father owned a hardware store on the east side of Manhattan. It was his father's. I worked with him every Saturday I can remember. I worked with him through summers, and when I was going to college in the East Village, I used to work with him usually on Saturdays. I'd open the store on Sundays. Always loved retail, loved dealing with customers, loved the idea of owning my own business. So besides working for my father in the hardware store all those years, my father was also, I should say, a watch, not as nutty as me, but he loved his watches. You guys have seen me with the Rolex Datejust that he had. He had a number of nice watches, so definitely that left an impression on me as well. So we graduate college, we start a new job at a large defense contractor here on Long Island, and we, just like everything else, we get into the professional corporate world, and we work. And it's cool. I love engineering. There's nothing wrong with it. And then around somewhere in 2001, this is where it gets interesting, if it hasn't been interesting yet. In around 2001, I go out to lunch with a bunch of college friends. And one of my friends, we'll call him Danny, because that's what his name is. Danny is wearing a watch that really struck me. It caught my eye. I thought, my goodness, that's such a beautiful watch. And I was like, where did you get that thing? And he tells me he bought it off of eBay for like $80 or something. It was like 100 euro, it was like 80 US dollars. It was right around the time when the euro had first come out. So actually the euro was worth less than $1, a very short period of time. And I was like, wow, that is absolutely amazing. I can't believe it. It's, I'll definitely have a picture of it going up. It was an ETA, open heart, automatic, obviously, brand Elise, which is really nice. And I couldn't believe the price he paid for it. And for some reason, I had just finished reading the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, around the same time. And I was like, wow, I think I could sell that thing. I bet you I could sell that. And I got the seller on eBay. I found the guy, told him, what I want to do. I want to buy a bunch of watches. And it was a slightly different watch. It wasn't the same exact watch. But I happened to obviously one day get that watch for myself. Can I buy it at a discount and resell them on eBay? And he said, do whatever you want. It's up to you. So I bought 10 pieces with my own money and went to eBay and this thing called eBay and started selling them. And sure enough, of the 10 watches, I sold like 8 of them for profit and a couple, a little bit of a loss once you took into the listing fees into account and everything. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And so you know what I did? I did it again. I got another 10. And then I did it again. I got different watches. And it kind of grew. I kept doing it. And every day I'd go to work and I'd bring, a little priority mailbox. I'd have like maybe one watch. Well, not every day, like every other day or every third day, I'd have a watch that I was shipping out. I'd go to the post office, drop it off. Very exciting. And then around 2003, I want to say, I registered the business, and then I started a website. And the website, if I could find a picture of the website, I think I can probably get something. I'll kind of toss it up there. I started a website, very crude, sold like 2 watches, but like within like a week or something, I sold my first watch, and it was like music to my ears. I couldn't believe it. My phone, it was a little AT&T flip phone, black and white, and it would send a little quick blurb that an order was received, and I was like, wow. And all this time, I'm still at work, by the way. I'm doing the engineering thing. And what do I say? It just kind of grew from there. I kept buying more watches, different brands, trying to get brands, and even to this day, it's still a very, very difficult, a very difficult climb to get brands to open up to the internet. But back then, forget it, the internet was like, they didn't understand it. A lot of companies still don't understand it, but back then, nobody understood it. And I was trying to get brands, convert them to let me sell online. And it was a long time coming. Like I said, that was 2003. I worked at my engineering job till 2011. And I just kept building up the company. I met wonderful people along the way that worked for me, from website maintenance to advertising to marketing to all that great stuff that makes the wheels turn. I'm still the guy behind the computer, generally answering the emails as of now. But a lot of people, made it possible, helped it grow. And then in 2011, my oldest at the time was starting kindergarten, and somebody needed to be home to put him on the bus, take him off the bus. My wife and I were both working. I made the very scary and courageous switch to say, I will leave my job, and I will stay home, run the business. So up to this point, don't forget, I'm, working all day, coming home, dinner, kids, bed, bath, that whole routine, and then you start working, and it was exhausting. So now I have all this time to focus on the business, and the business grows over the years, hire people to help me take on more of the workload, more of the work share. And then a few years later, my wife, who is an accountant, she's a CPA, the firm she was at, she kind of knew, they told her, the firm would be ceasing to do operations, and then she's, freaking out about, I'm going to have to start to go on interviews again. And I said, at this point, I'm like, wow, I really need an accountant. I can't keep doing all this stuff by myself. I need your help. And she came on board. And that was probably the scariest thing, because as you guys, at least in the U.S., realize that, obviously the benefits were coming there, the health benefits, everything else. So then I had to take on the share of health benefits, on the business. But again, another decision that was hard to make, but very happy I did it. So truly a family-owned and operated business, 100%. That was a few years ago, so now here I am today, still going, started the YouTube thing like a year or two ago, because I had more time on my hands, because more tasks are being done by other people, do more videos, and in the future, I just see the business just continuing to grow. People ask, will you open a storefront? I just don't see it. I can't see it happening anytime soon. I still feel, brick and mortar, not at the luxury level, but just the mom and pop jewelry stores. I just don't see how they continue to do operations. That's knowing my insider look at the business and what goes on behind the scenes. But other than that, that's basically the Island Watch story of where I am and how I got here. It is important to note that I am not, the only person that works for the company. I have people both throughout the country and work for me directly that make the wheels of Island Watch turn, and without them, it would cease to exist. So I am eternally grateful. And that's about it. That's the Island Watch story. I hope you enjoyed it. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't. Please subscribe. I'll keep making more and more videos. If you want to comment on the video, you might have questions. I doubt it, but maybe you want to comment. I'd love to read them. Go below and leave a comment, and I'll respond as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.